I'm picking up good vibrations. It's Haunted Phosphorescence. God, nobody told me this was a masked affair. I'm one of your hosts, Thoreau Smiley. Who's joining me this week?
Well, you can't take him out like that. At least cover his face. He's Josh Cece.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm just here so my wax head doesn't get melted. I have a reputation to uphold.
And I'm Alaric Weber, but you can call me Dr. Phibes.
I don't know. I still like Madam Weber.
Otaku.
Dr. Phibes, so you're really into Japanese stuff.
I'm not a real doctor, but I am a real weeb.
Of the Sailor Moon variety.
This is Haunted Phosphorescence, your spooky deep dive movie podcast. Where for the spooky month of October,
Spooktober,
we do spook movies.
We're taking a break from Corn Week.
Yeah. Corn Week is currently on hiatus so that we can have Candy Corn Week.
Exactly.
This show is brought to you by our patrons. As always, patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron too? Go to patreon.com/harmless entertainment. We got a ton of bonus content up there. We've got Star Wars shows and monthly movies. We just did Head, the Monkeys. Ed is up there.
That's one of my favorite episodes we've done in a little while.
It was fun.
It was a trip. It was a trip.
We had a good conversation. Well, I think we all said the conversation was better than the movie.
Oh, sure.
Which I think was intentional. But anyways, good episode. Join Patreon.
It's like Josh says, yeah, do it. You don't want to disappoint Josh, do you? Come on.
No, I'll yell at you in a pharmacy line.
He will.
I'll give him a hug.
Please go to patreon.com.
I'll yell at a guy who told me his feet didn't work. Sitting 6 rows up from the bottom in the theater. So join Patreon.
So, give us money.
Or else.
I like that you're not asking them to donate to our Patreon. You just want them to join Patreon. Set up an account. Yeah, just easy and quick.
You can also get money. Patreon.com. This ad brought to you by Patreon.com.
Follow me for more tips.
For more Patreon tips. But this is our first Haunted Phosphorescence movie of the year. Josh picked it, and it's called The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
Music for a murder, or 2, or 3, or 9. Who's this? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet a dear friend. 9 killed you. 9 shall die. Your wife, no, Phibes. But you I will kill. But you can't, Doctor. I am already dead.
Here, how are we going to get him off this? You take his head, and I'll take his feet. Let's unscrew him.
Dr. Phibes, who samples the finer things of life in his own inimitable way, and experiments with fascinating instruments of death.
The what, sir? The guitar.
the 10 curses visited upon the pharaohs before Exodus. 9 shall die, 9 eternities in doom. The curse of boils, of bats.
Frogs?
Of frogs, yes. And the curse of blood.
Clovers and balloons.
Curse of hail in the bloody middle of nowhere.
Are you ready for Dr. Phibes?
Probably the most terrifying motion picture you'll ever see.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not.
I love the airplane. Throttle check. Brake check. Rats. Oh, I didn't check for rats.
Oh my God! No,
And the rats were waiting.
That's why they have a checklist.
The rats
you gotta check the rats off the checklist.
The rats were waiting until they got in the air.
Yeah, that's what he told the rat. Look, because we could get him on the ground, boss. No.
Wait till he's flying.
The real trouble was training the rats to wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God! This movie was wild.
Yeah.
It might be the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yep. I was terrified.
Might be.
It might be, but it is not. Okay, the abominable Dr. Phibes. I cannot say that fucking word right the first time. The abominable.
He's an abomination.
He is. He is. But he's not.
He's abominable.
He does not live in
In the
Himalayas at all.
or the Pacific Northwest.
No.
He's able to bomb.
He is
He bombs with aplomb.
with the bomb. I love the unscrewing the guy from the drill.
There was
We'll get to
voiceover in the movie, but the voiceover in the trailer was entirely different voiceover. It's so much worse.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying Gravis, but then you see the
Legs.
building a house by spinning the wall until you get to the hilt of the screw. Yeah, just spin that wall around.
The abominable Dr. Phibes was released May 18th, 1971. Running time in 94 minutes. It cost $600,000. And it made
Roger Corman, baby.
Yeah.
AIP.
And it made $1.5 million worldwide. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Did pretty good. It was a hit.
I'm sure a lot of that went for that organ band setup.
Yeah.
Probably.
Little bandstand wasn't cheap.
That set in general was $400,000 of the $600,000.
Yeah, it's pretty to look at. And it's interesting because Corman himself directed a few Edgar Allan Poe movies with Vincent Price and like Mask of Red Death. Just those great Technicolor views. I like it. They don't have gels anymore, hardly, and so just like there's a shade of violet you can't quite.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I kept forgetting that it was set in the 1920s because it looks so swinging London.
Okay, Joseph Cotton, he's the main doctor at the end, passive various or something. I don't know, but Mesmerosius. But his office I don't know, that was a very modern office. Those bent chairs.
Yeah.
It's his flat and his office.
That's where Dr. Detroit lives.
Yeah, that looked so 70s.
Yeah, white tile, tall glass, and mirrors.
But then everywhere else, they would leave this posh flat and get into like a Stutz Bearcat or like
and
old ass car.
The kid with his like mod 60s hair too.
Yeah.
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 I couldn't nail down when it was supposed to be, but the 30s, you said?
1925 is when it was set. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We talk about anachronisms a lot, but just that flat.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
then, all the doctors in their cars and homes, they all seemed period specific.
Sure.
But then you open the lift into the Joseph Cotton's like swinging bachelor pad, just 80s sitcom style, him and his son.
Yeah, he's working on his
Well,
train.
we're making it work.
I mean,
It's
the
a
Brussels sprout
doctor
liquid
and son.
technology, like you couldn't process food like that in 1925.
No, Brussels sprout soup was old school back then.
Yeah.
Not like our modern
even
Brussels
then.
sprout soup.
Yeah.
Our condensed Brussels sprouts we get now.
How bad
Just
does that
having
stuff
some Brussels
smell?
sprout milk.
you got to milk the Brussels sprouts.
You press them like almonds.
We milk
Grow up.
every sprout individually.
Ocean spray.
What
Here
was
in
funny
native
about that scene
Brussels.
was he was throwing some away like, no, this one's no good.
The bad ones.
Yeah.
Or was he going to eat those off the ground later?
Oh, maybe he was
The
going to have his
11-year-old in
lady go around on her hands and knees and eat him off the ground like a dog.
Yeah, I want to
in
talk
the
about
kitchen.
the lady.
Volnavia?
Vulva.
Vulva for short.
Volnavia.
I thought they were going to reveal that was his daughter or something. I would have just. That's a fine rebound.
Just
Yeah, like, dude, just live your life with
acid to the
her.
face.
She looks a lot like your wife.
You're both goth. You're both like just
Drinking
Kinda
and
digs
dancing.
yeah, just
Yeah,
She's clearly into this whole thing.
she sweeps.
she's
and
also
puts
a
up
musician.
She sweeps and puts up the chairs every night like she's in a nightclub.
Yeah. He's like, no, man, not you, Guillermo.
Not you, Guillermo. So, all right, yeah, the Abominable Dr. Phibes made a decent amount of money. So let's play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week of May 18th, 1971. And the guys here are going to try to guess what movie I am describing. Again, there are some we all know and some we've never heard of with these late 60s, early 70s movies. So, at number 10 for the week of May 18th, 1971, I was shocked at this one. In the 25th century, a man and a woman rebel against a rigidly controlled society.
Was it Logan's Run?
It is not. No, that was like 76, 77, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. I know we did.
This is a movie by a director we have done. Let's see. We have done 1, 2, 3. We've done 4 movies he's directed and an additional 6 that he wrote and produced.
Is it THX?
THX 1138. George Lucas's first film.
Wow, 71.
It was on the charts.
Yeah, it was a hit, weirdly.
I thought it was one of those that, got him noticed and got him gigged. I had no idea it did that well in the box office. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a real rough go of it.
Yes, I'm glad he had some success at some point.
I'm glad.
I love all those. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Like, there's more than there should be videos of people just like randomly filming in public and George Lucas just walking past them in the background, looking over like, oh shit, he's filming. Like, too many. There's one where he's just in a mall food court eating lunch by himself. Like, why are you eating lunch by yourself at a mall, George?
I have a condition that wasn't widely diagnosed. That
Yeah,
got a touch of the tip.
yeah,
He
does.
wants to talk to crazy fans.
He does.
That's what that says to me. He wants to hear about it.
I
every
think
once
he's
in
a
while.
certain amount of oblivious.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Not even in
Yeah.
a rude way. I think he's kind of oblivious to what's happening around. I think that's been very evident.
Dude isn't on the spectrum. The dude designed the spectrum and gave it a funny name.
And brought it to ILM.
Yeah.
He found new colors in the spectrum.
Okay. At number 9 for the week of May 18th, 1971 at the box office. Phil agrees to look after his dying Vietnam vet buddy by taking care of his motorcycle, only to run into some trouble with both the law and other bikers.
Phil's editing it.
Yeah. This movie stars Robert Fuller, Tony Russell, and Sherry Bain. I love 60s actors and actresses I've never heard of. Saying them in a Troy McClure voice. And Sherry Bain.
And shit. Yeah.
Some machine.
You may know me.
Yeah. The tagline is "Some machines are more than most men can handle."
Hog.
Might as well.
The movie.
It's called The Hard Ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a hard ride, Phil.
At number 8 this week, Edwin Antony, emasculated after a philanderer's death, searches for the origin of his organ, involving the philanderer's wife and numerous girlfriends.
That's not this movie.
This looks like a sex comedy, like a 60s sex, like Monkey Ted and Alice.
Emasculated philanderers. That's what I would call it.
It's a one-word title, and the word is the name of the philanderer.
Pete.
It's called
Cherry.
No, it's the dude, the sexy dude, the sexy 60s guy with a
he's the philanderer.
Yeah, with a lot of mustache going on there. His name is Percy. It's called Percy.
Oh, it's just called Percy.
Percy. Yeah, a movie that was very difficult to Google thanks to Percy Jackson. Google insisted, like, no, you don't mean that. You mean Percy Jackson.
We're taking you to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
You want it or not.
At number 7 this week, the story of an English officer who successfully united and led the diverse, often warring Arab tribes during World War I.
Larry.
Right?
I mean, you're not... Yeah, in a sense.
Larry of Arabia.
Lawrence.
Yeah, it's one of the re-releases of Lawrence of Arabia. British Beatlemania.
I'd like to see that on the big screen. Man.
Oh, God. That'd be amazing. I'd love to see it.
The Loft tours it every year.
What was it?
70.
70 millimeter. Yeah, that would be incredible.
Yeah, I think there's like a new copy that just was re-released for the tour too. So it's like a really, really rich version.
Ooh. At number 6 this week, a boy and a girl from different backgrounds fall in love. That could not be more vague.
This is the gross Romeo and Juliet.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. But that is literally the entire, like, it stars Ally McGraw and Ryan O'Neal in
Love Story.
Was it Memories? Was that the song from this movie?
MacArthur Park, I think. You left my cake out in the rain.
Okay. Yeah. Really? Love Story. At number 5 this...
That was Robert Evans's big hit. If that hadn't been a success, there wouldn't have been any Godfather movies. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That particular film, Love Story.
It was Tommy Lee Jones's first movie. Yeah.
He already hated everyone.
Yeah, he was already 60. Oh God. Yeah. Number. What are we at? At number 5 this week at the box office. An old dying Satanist arranges to transfer his soul into the body of a young concert pianist.
Wow. Organs.
What? Oh God. The tagline is, "When was the last time you were afraid?" really afraid. Brace yourself for the ultimate transplant, the human soul. This stars Alan Alda, Jacqueline Bisset, and Barbara Parkins.
You know, a fun Satanism movie.
I think Alan Alda is the concert pianist. This is called The Mephisto Waltz.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that one. At number 4 this week, Alfred Chamberlain copes with urban violence, obscene phone calls, rusty water pipes, electrical blackouts, paranoia, and racial conflict during a 1970s summer as he gets to know his girlfriends and family.
Shit.
This is a This is a comedy.
I was gonna say that just tonally, that whole thing, just urban violence and one of those things is not like the other.
Meet the fuckers.
They have
so earnest.
The original.
The original.
The original Meet the Fuckers. Before all the flashy remakes.
This was directed by Alan Arkin, starring Elliot Gould and Vincent Gardenia. Wow. There's a tagline from, or there's a, not a tagline, there's a quote from Newsweek on the poster, and it says, "Funny in a new and frightening way." You know how you'd like to be scared when you're laughing?
Sounds like someone pitching, like putting a finger up your butt.
Funny in a new and frightening way. It's called Little Murders. Little Murders. It was written by Jules Pfeiffer, and it's actually credited as Jules Pfeiffer's Little Murders. Jules Pfeiffer.
He did a Jules Pfeiffer movie, I feel like.
Jules wrote Popeye. Popeye.
Oh,
also, wrote Carnal Knowledge.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Cartoonist. I read it.
Yeah. At number 3 this week at the box office. I'm sorry, just the posters. It says it's has Walter Matthau. It's just Walter Matthau looking very Walter Matthau-y.
That's all. He was the leading man.
Yeah.
He didn't need much to sell him.
No. 3 vignettes, each set in room 719 of New York's Plaza Hotel, make up this comedy. Directed by Arthur Hiller, based on a Neil Simon play.
Hotel?
No. It's called Plaza Suite. Walter Matthau,
yep.
Maureen Stapleton, and Barbara Harris.
Yeah, Plaza Suite, right.
Yeah. At number 2 this week, it's a big week for the pulpy horror movies. An anthology of 4 horror stories revolving around a mysterious rental house in the UK. This is a Christopher Lee.
The estate.
Yeah. This is wait, no, yeah, that's Christopher Lee. Yeah, this is Christopher Lee. And Peter Cushing.
Hammer.
It's not marketed as a Hammer, but
but those two guys. Yeah, I don't think that was the 50s.
The tagline is "Terror waits for you in every room."
Yeah, it sounds like the housing market now.
Yeah, written by Robert.
4 rooms. The original.
The original.
Meet the Fockers.
4 weddings
now
and a
meet these
funeral. The
fuckers.
original. It was written by Robert Bloch and Russ Jones. It's called The House That Dripped Blood.
Oh yeah, don't go in that house. Go to the one that drips candy corn.
Yeah.
No, not that one. That was the first candy that came to my mind. Terrible.
Yeah, if candy corn's
Put that next to the blood house.
Yeah. And at number 1 this week, after saving a Black Panther from some racist cops, A black male prostitute goes on the run from the man with the help of the ghetto community and some disillusioned Hell's Angels.
Damn.
This is popularly considered the first blaxploitation film. Directed by written and directed and starring Melvin Van Peebles.
Is it Badass?
It's
or Sweetbacks?
Sweetback's Badass Song.
That's it.
Yep. A movie that
that is some forward themes.
Oh yeah. A movie that
71?
Yeah, 71. So early for that. But
Yeah.
No, a movie that I didn't know the existence of and so I was very confused by the Simpsons episode Sweet Seymour Skinner's Badass Song. That is the box office top 10, which brings us to the production of the film, The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
You did it, Thoreau.
I said it. I did. I said it. The Abominable Dr. Then I didn't. Damn it.
Dr. Phibes.
Dr. Phibes was written
Dr. Phibes.
by James Whitten and William Goldstein. James Whitten also wrote Murder by Phone and many episodes of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And
Murder by Phone.
Murder by Phone. I didn't think about how funny that was. Like, hello, who is this? A murderer. You want me to kill this?
Don't. You have the wrong number. Oh, my mistake. Ooh, that was a close one.
Yeah. It was a disgruntled phone company employee develops a device whereby those answering the phone can be murdered.
Wait, is this the Lawnmower Man, but like 20 years earlier?
Yeah. Murder by Phone, starring Richard Chamberlain and Johnny Houseman. Wow. Oh, crazy.
John Houseman.
Yeah.
He went by Johnny at some point?
Oh, that was 1982. So that was after Dr. Phibes. Yeah. And our other writer, William Goldstein, let's see, is mostly known as a composer. He did the scores for Fame, Shocker, Wes Craven's Shocker, Hello Again, the Shelley Long comedy. So not a great composer, but nonetheless a composer.
I mean, Fame was
Fame was
popular. Yeah.
Absolutely. God, yeah. Oh, let's see. He also did A Talent for Murder, a tribute to Jacques Cousteau.
A Talent for Murder, a tribute to Jacques Cousteau.
This dude was
those two different?
Yeah, this dude was all over the place. Oh my Lord! But he has a writing credit on this film, and this appears to be his only writing credit, at least the only one mentioned. He did. He also did a lot of composing work for the Twilight Zone.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, he didn't do the
impressive.
theme, but he did, a lot of.
No, but yeah.
Music is
That is a mood. That's a mood-driven show. Music is very important.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, everyone's favorite switched on classics.
Switched on. That's what woke was called.
Yeah. And Danielle Steele's Zoya. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop naming stuff this dude composed for. It was Dr. Phibes was directed by Robert Fust. Let's see. He directed
Not Faust.
Not Faust. No.
That would have been great for that guy to.
Yeah. He directed a 1970 version of Wuthering Heights starring Timothy Dalton. I didn't know he was working that early. Dalton played Heathcliff, huh? He directed both Dr. Phibes movie. There is a sequel to this, which is apparently more well regarded than the original is.
Yeah, there are images of him that I thought were in this that are in that.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's called Dr. Phibes Rises Again, and
It makes it sound like more of a romp, like that's a sex comedy.
Dr. Phibes goes Hawaiian. Yeah.
Goes Hawaiian.
This time with more rigor than ever.
Than ever. Rigor.
More rigor.
Works on 2 levels.
Dr. Fust also, let's see, he did a bunch of very pulpy horror things. The Final Program. About I don't know what that is. Doesn't matter. Devil's Reign. 3 Dangerous Ladies. That's. I work with 3 dangerous ladies. They're all in HR. Revenge of the Stepford Wives, which was a straight-to-TV sequel to the unofficial sequel to the Stepford Wives.
They didn't tie that up with a bow at the end. Okay.
The Big Stuffed Dog, which is, oh my God, a little boy named
Charles Grodin in it.
I wish. No one anyone's ever heard of is. Oh nope. I'm sorry. One person we've heard of, Abe Vigoda, is the biggest name.
Oh shit! Who does not have many rhymes?
Yeah. This is written by Charles Schultz, and it's a little boy named Petey takes his big Snoopy doll on an airplane trip, only to use it after landing at the airport. Petey looks for the doll as it goes on adventure. It's kind of like a Peanuts Follow That Bird, it seems.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, and Fust's last movie was Aphrodite, which is described as a softcore porn.
All right.
He followed up the Snoopy movie with the porn.
That's why in this movie it was so confusing about the Joseph Cotton's fancy modern apartment, and then meanwhile Terry Thomas is using a crank Nickelodeon
to look at weird
to jerk off.
Yeah,
it's the equivalent of the mouse today.
While drinking and going,
He got real jazzed when the snake came out.
Yeah, no, he was like, oh, I'm into snakes.
Just close up on Terry Thomas.
This movie stars Vincent Price as Dr. Phibes. Dr. Anton Phibes.
Anton Phibes.
Anton Phibes.
That
common
dude,
Swedish name.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anton.
Yeah.
That guy, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
He's fucking Vincent Price.
He's an institution. He deserved all the adulation he got and still gets.
He's probably best.
Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Does a great.
Oh, God, yeah. He's probably best known to people much younger than us as the guy that does the Thriller talk. Darkness falls across the land.
That's probably the only thing people younger than me know him from.
Yeah. But, of course, he was a horror classic. House of Wax, the original House of Wax, not the Rob Zombie remake. The Fly, the original Fly, not the 80s Jeff Goldblum, David Cronenberg. Remake. Cronenberg. House on Haunted Hill, the original, not the 90s Liam Neeson remake.
Yes, he was in the original. Yeah.
The Last Man on... The Raven. Yeah, The Last Man on Earth, which was the original, not the Will Smith I Am Legend remake. And of course, he worked with Robert Corman a lot on Poe ones.
Was he in the original Meet the Fockers?
Yeah,
he was. He did the Ben Stiller role.
Gaylord Fokker.
So who was the De Niro role? Was that Peter Cushing?
Al, I hope that this becomes your Shrek. And I love that it's Meet the Fockers. That's the third one, right? That's already 3 deep.
I think that was just 2.
Yeah, that's right. The original was Meet the Parents. They named a movie Meet the Fockers, and everyone was like, "This is fine."
This is fine. This is all fine.
But yeah,
I just love starting that. I don't know. It's not a Meet the Parents remake. It's a Meet the Fockers.
Let's see.
The Jewish retired parents.
Yeah.
Out of Florida. All right. Yeah.
The original Meet the Fockers, which means
it begs the question: was there an original Meet the Parents?
And the answer is no.
That was a prequel to the story once
It was
told.
a prequel to a remake of a movie that hadn't been made yet.
It's hurting my brain in the best way. Correct.
So, Vincent Price made a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe movies with Roger Corman, like Josh mentioned, The Raven, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death. He played Egghead on the Batman series.
Sure did.
And of course, he voiced Professor Ratigan in The Great Mouse Detective.
He was on the Muppet Show.
Oh yeah,
I remember that one. I mean, a lot of people work.
Oh, this is our second Vincent Price.
I remember that one. That's what it was.
This is our second Vincent Price movie. He was in Edward Scissorhands.
Oh
Yeah.
I just love him. He knew what he was there to do.
Yeah.
To chew up the scenery, but he didn't think it was Richard Burton or anything. You know, he delivered. I just appreciated that. Joseph Cotton too.
Yeah.
This must have been one of his later or last.
Vincent Price's first film was in 1938. It was called Service Deluxe, and it was.
It's that movie Terry Thomas was watching on the crank. He was in that belly dancing movie.
And it's a rom-com. He plays the romantic lead in a romantic comedy. Oh, that's crazy.
I feel like he always looked old. I'd have to go back, and I don't know what young Vincent Price looks like.
I mean, even
my brain can't conjure that image.
Even in Service Deluxe, he looks Vincent Pricey. Like, he's obviously younger, but he still has like the Van Dyke. Like,
that's great.
Yeah. And as Josh mentioned, of course, Joseph Cotton plays Dr. Vesalius. Joseph Cotton.
And he is in one of the most famous, I don't know if you'd call it scary, but definitely suspenseful thriller. Like, he was one of the first serial killer characters in Shadow of a Doubt.
Yeah, Shadow of a Doubt is
Uncle
so
Charlie.
good. Such a good movie.
Oh, it's so good.
Joseph Cotton, I mean, he was kind of slumming it here because in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, he was like a top tier. Like, he was in Philadelphia Story. He was in Citizen Kane and The Magnificent Ambersons.
Yep.
The Third Man. Let's see. Heaven's Gate. The was one of his last movies. The film that like killed westerns as a genre for almost 15 years.
And auteur cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
If Malick hadn't failed so bad, I don't know if Spielberg would have been the next wave.
Mm-hmm.
They would have stayed in that 70s artist kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I mean, he definitely had fell on hard times. Not on hard times. He was not getting offered the same level of role by the 60s. And so was, doing kind of more pulpy movies. Let's see. The Great Sioux Massacre, The Cruel Ones, Gangsters 70.
I'll round up every chick named Sue. Shit is going down.
And let's see. Probably our next biggest name is, I don't know. Not a lot of these are big names. Let's see. We've got, I'll just go. importance of character.
Terry Thomas. I mean,
Yeah,
he's in Mary Poppins.
Terry Thomas
he was
is
a figure.
as Dr. Longstreet, like English character actor of the 60s and 70s. He was also in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. How to Murder Your Wife.
Did some Disney voices. I think.
Yeah. Let's see. The Private Life of Henry VIII. Yeah, it's like definitely Mary Poppins is where most people would know him from.
My phone glitched, so you said mad like 12 times. Mad.
Peter Jeffrey as Inspector Harry Trout. Peter Jeffrey.
Who's Harry Trout?
Who is Harry Trout? Yeah. Peter Jeffrey, another kind of British character actor. A bunch of very British things. Ring of Brightwater, The Best House in London, Anna of 1,000 Days, A Choice of Kings. A lot of British
I say
shit. Yeah.
Roger, again, it's just his studio, Roger Corman's studio. I don't know how involved he was in this, but he definitely believed in that idea of, like, if you give everyone a British accent, it sets a mood.
For sure.
These are actual British actors, but, like, we got to go with that.
Yeah.
The British, it's the way we use British villains these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
One we may have all seen, The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen.
Yes.
Small role in that. Sultan.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. He was also in Lipstick on Your Collar and Our Friends in the North. Okay. Hugh Griffith played the rabbi. Hugh Griffith is, let's see, he won an Academy Award for Ben-Hur. He played, who was he in Ben-Hur? Let's see.
Sheik Ilderim.
Yes. Thank you, Al.
Oh, Sheik.
He was also nominated for Tom Jones. He was the magistrate in Oliver. So another British character actor guy. Weirdly playing the rabbi in The Abominable Dr. Phibes. Just like 2 years after he got nominated for an Oscar. That's crazy. Let's see. Aubrey Woods as Goldsmith, who was
the jeweler.
Yeah, who was Bill in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. He was the candy man.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, at the
You
shop.
can bring the sunshine.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Before Sammy.
Yeah.
It's totally ditchy, man.
Let's see.
It's absolutely perky, babe.
Derek Godfrey as Crow? Who's Crow? I don't.
Crow was one of the investigators.
Oh, Crow. Okay, yeah.
He's the one with the mustache.
Yeah.
Trout and Crow together.
Trout and Crow.
That's right. So he was also in The Ruling Class.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
the 1977 Nicholas Nickleby.
All right, it's getting too British up in here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some steak and kidney pie.
Virginia North played Volnavia, a word which you can't say in public.
The beautiful single chick that lives with this guy who could not be less interested.
Right. She was. Let's see. She was a Bond girl on Her Majesty's Secret Service, a movie
That was after this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a second.
The George Lazenby Bond. No, that was before
Kelly
this.
Savalas.
That was 69. Yeah, she was also in Some Girls Do, where she played robot number 9.
So even robot women are selective. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Norman Jones played Sergeant Tom Shenley.
He was the chief. architect guy.
Yeah.
Always getting Trout's name wrong.
He was in a bunch of Doctor Who stuff in the 60s, it looks like. And, he was also in You Only Live Twice. He played an American astronaut in that. Okay. Oh, God. Let's see. Maurice Kaufman played Dr. Whitcomb. Sean Burry played Lem Vesalius. That's the kid. Lem Vesalius.
Lemmy.
Let's see. He was in The Spy Who Loved Me. That was his last film role. Otherwise, he did a bunch of TV stuff in the 70s. And then
I've lost who we're talking
he
about.
retired to be British. The kid.
Oh, the kid. He retired to be British. I love these beans too much.
I want to put them on toast.
And then I want to dedicate my life full time to that.
Yeah. Beans on toast. Polly Walker. Rolly Doc. I don't know. Susan Travers played Nurse Allen, the one that got Brussels sprouted.
My 11-year-old brain is like, can you make poison out of Brussels sprout? No, I guess you could attract locusts.
Locusts love Brussels sprout juice.
Sprout juice has to be extracted. Like sugar water, yeah, that'd probably work too. But I have this Brussels sprout garden. This chick brings them to me in a basket.
Yeah, she's, I don't know, a bunch of, she was in, I don't know, a lot of British stuff. None of
I looked through a lot of British
Peeping
stuff.
Tom is probably the most interesting film she was in. Oh, and Frenzy.
Oh.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
She was also in On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
I'm not going to go through all the doctors here. There were a lot of them, and they were all just British character guys.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong page.
Okay. And Carolyn Monroe as the picture of Dr. Phibes' wife. I guess he also watched a film clip of her or something at some point.
She was working up into the 2000s, if she's not still.
Yeah, she was...
Because I had to look her up to make sure she was not his assistant, that it wasn't the same woman playing. That's how alike they looked to me.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't understand why he met her at some sort of organ gig or whatever. I don't know. It's not satisfied with her.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why? Where did he get this lady? And why isn't she not enough? But Carolyn Jane Monroe, who plays the dead wife, is working as recently as 2023. She was in a movie called The Presence of Snowgood. Let's see, nothing really big. Oh, she was in.
That implies there's snow bad.
There's snow bad.
Snow
good.
Yeah.
She was in The Spy Who Loved Me.
She was also in
Bond all over.
Oh, and Casino Royale.
And To Die For, and Stellar Quasar and the Scrolls of Daedalus.
She was in the Casino Royale, that the
old
Peter
one.
Sellers,
Yeah.
David Niven, Woody Allen.
Yeah, not the
Not Meet the Fockers.
Yeah. Oh, she was in Slaughter High in 1986.
She graduated. If you can make it to graduation,
she was valedictorian at Slaughter High.
Slaughter High.
Go Corpses.
Slaughter High. Corpses.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go through the rest of these guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. James Whitten and William Goldstein wrote this, and AIP, which is, as Josh mentioned, Corman's
label.
Yeah.
His studio.
His label. Phil Spector produced. Yeah.
He would slap his name on anything.
Yeah. Bought it, and they're the ones who put Vincent Price in because he was kind of attached to that studio. Originally, Peter Cushing was supposed to play Dr. Vesalius, but he was replaced by Joseph Cotton.
That would have been really cool.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a different vibe, but you know what I mean? Those are just two powerhouse, like old school horror guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have reduced the role of the detective and stuff probably too.
Yeah, it would have been more
true.
about Cushing versus Price.
Yeah.
Which is also how I choose sofas.
Cushing versus Price. I love it.
Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune gave the movie 3.5 stars, calling it stylish, clever, and a shrieking winner. Though he disliked the lack of zip in the ending. It has
not enough zip, too much zop.
Yeah, it has 88% on Rotten Tomatoes critic score, 75% audience. Very well liked film. I have some Letterboxd reviews here. Letterboxd user Sarah Squirm writes, "Jigsaw could never." 5 stars. This is kind of like a 60s Saw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Letterboxd user Ethan Colburn writes, "Love means never having to say you're ugly." 2.5 stars. And Bryce Wilson writes, "More like the Immaculate Dr. Vibes." You know what I'm saying?
I love when people type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And user Kim Kong writes, "Everyone seems to enjoy this. 1 star."
Yay, 5 stars.
So, I don't know. That's about it for the background of the film, guys. Are we ready to jump into the movie?
As darkness falls, the land.
Let me plug my neck in.
Let me just fill up my neck hole with some coffee.
Yeah.
My pack neck hole.
I've got to blend a breakfast burrito and pour it into my neck hole.
I'm a busy man.
Is that the American or the Southwestern, the Mexican version of the British breakfast?
The breakfast burrito.
Huevos rancheros.
Yeah. Did Dr. Phibes blend up his beans and toast?
Oh,
sorry.
Oh yeah, he had to blend it all.
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to eat beans and toast, and he has to.
Even when he's taste testing Brussels sprout soup, he's gonna be like with the little sound, the lapping up sound
in his little neck tube.
Once again in the back.
It doesn't go into his throat. It goes back into like the muscles of his neck.
The neck.
Yeah.
Back is your neck. The front is your throat. And yeah, he feeds his fucking.
Put it in my neck hole.
Near the spine. You got more Brussels sprout juice in your spinal.
Put the Brussels sprout juice in my neck hole.
I'm not going to tell you again. By the way, you look lovely today.
All right, here we go. This is the Abominable Dr. Phibes. We open on a ballroom with robot band guys playing music while Dr. Phibes rocks out on the organ.
Have you guys seen Frank? The Fassbender movie where he is.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, they look just like that.
They look just like Frank.
Sure.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe Frank looks like Dr. Phibes' robot band.
I think that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Band. He went and had that drum skin printed up.
They were credited as the Clockwork Wizards, which is the new name of my band, the Clockwork Wizards.
Sounds like something Pete Townsend.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So then he stops playing the organ. Credits play over the scene. He starts conducting the robots.
Oh, this movie opens with Bach.
Yeah. It does.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah. Then Volnavia enters and they begin dancing. We're now 10 minutes into the movie.
Why is that her name? I know it doesn't. Nobody ever explains why a character's name is what their name is, but yeah, nobody says her name.
Yeah,
until the end.
Oh, I guess till the very, very end. But like,
I didn't catch it.
Why couldn't she just be Dottie? You know,
because that woman is clearly Volnavia.
Yeah,
yeah,
through and through.
Volnavia.
Yeah, it's a credit union.
It's the name of a gynecology franchise.
Volnavia. That sounds like an amusement park.
It's a gynecology franchise.
Jade Egg Brand.
For the golden stirrups.
You don't want to go to Volnavia. You want to go to a local gynecologist. Don't go to a chain.
You'll never get
Mark
the
Cuban's new online gynecology, Volnavia.com.
Like, listen, just turn your phone on. You lay down.
I can tell you what's wrong with the vagina, just like that. Internet.
No OB, just GYN.
Just
have your own babies.
So they lower a covered birdcage into a car in a garage below the dance hall, and then get in the car and drive off. We cut to a man in bed. Dr. Phibes opens up his...
No, guy's just sitting in bed doing the obituaries. He's got a pen. He's got a pen and he's marking, but it's not a puzzle. In fact, it's just columns of dented print.
Checking off all of his enemies that perish.
I guess. It's like, these are the words I like the best.
He's doing a word search, but in an article.
In his own mind.
That's actually a really interesting idea.
That is.
That's
a certain kind of crazy I like. Yeah. I think let's see if I can find the word. Haberdasher.
in this article,
you're just reading
in this article about a hit and run. So he and Volnavia lower the birdcage through the skylight and release bats who kill the guy. Fruit bats, yeah.
There are no bats that prey on humans, but those definitely don't.
Yeah. No.
Just the largest
massive
ones,
fruit bats.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then awesome, like close-ups of a small dog licking its chops, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, they kill him, and then his butler enters and finds the body.
Like, I get housekeeping, like it comes to clean your house, they leave, you know. But imagine having a butler.
Oh my God.
It's just like a dude like that you refuse to let hang out with you. You just make him bring it in. Like, you know, we could be friends. I could still make you something to eat. No. Stay in another fucking room, bro.
I didn't even consider that part of having a butler, is that you can tell them to fuck off to somewhere else.
But also, I don't know. How does the dynamic? I mean, it worked when the classes were so clearly defined, but now,
it's like
I mean, what's he gonna do? Unionize?
Because he's my butler.
Not unionize. What am I trying to say? Like, the vibes have to be so weird. Having a dude you pay to hang out in your house, but you don't hang out with him.
You
know, he doesn't need the shilling.
Yeah.
Preying on your downfall the whole time.
I guess it's like having a personal assistant. What the fuck am I talking about? They all have PAs and they treat them like that.
Yeah, they do. They're just not called butlers anymore. And
right.
They don't wear tuxedos. Yeah.
No, they get you concert tickets on Adderall.
If I was a big Hollywood guy and I had a personal assistant, I would absolutely make them wear coat and tails all the time.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah. I guess it's just my poor brain trying to imagine the dynamic.
That would be really funny
exists.
to hire a personal assistant and make them dress in tails. But just like, I don't want you to do a voice. You just have
but
to.
You have to decide that your career is not important to you, and you will be canceled at some point.
You will be.
Because this assistant, was he abusive? I don't know. He made me wear tails.
He was really nice, but he also called me Montgomery.
Yeah, he paid me so well, but I had to wear this shit into public.
No, I mean, Mr. Belvedere was all about a regular family who gets a butler.
You're right. I rescind. I just for a second, my poor ass imagined hiring a dude and then not letting him chill with me.
Well, I'm just imagining sitting here in my
yes, it happens
in my shitty apartment, and a dude just standing on the other side of the door waiting for me to call him in.
Drinks on the china. Never mind rip off.
So yeah, his butler finds the body and calls the police. We cut to Phibes putting a locket with a Hebrew symbol on a wax bust of the man who just died, and then melting the wax bust's face. It's his little thing he does.
I guess it is the little things that make a difference.
It is.
I mean, if you're going to lean into vengeance that hardcore, you've got to just, the flair for the dramatic. Did he commission those sculptures?
I mean,
because they're like, where did these pendants get made? And the candle shop maker next door, he's like, well, I made 7 busts of prominent doctors. I don't know if that helps.
That would have honestly been a cool detail. If that had been part of it, because the masks are the weirdest part of this. He doesn't even melt them all the way. He just burns their faces enough just to be like,
take that.
All right, that's enough.
Enough to drip wax on the medallions.
Yeah. I would have loved to see them like melt.
Yeah.
Like actually melt. Like hit them with a fucking beam of light.
But they're made by Yankee Candle companies. So
they're vanilla scented.
They aren't even real wax. They're made of soy.
You're like, wait, green tea?
Dead horse.
Strawberry basil. So
but why?
All
right.
Yeah. Then we cut to some time later. We meet Inspector Trout and Sergeant Shenley. They're investigating. They don't know what could have happened or how bats got in. They're reminded of a death in Scotland the previous week, a doctor who was stung to death by bees in his library.
And they sort of set up.
Okay.
No, you.
Oh, me. Thank you. I'm glad they didn't show us the bees. One less kill was a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Then we cut to the following evening. Phibes is putting on his face, literally. Then he attends a masked costume party.
He is just out there at this party.
He's putting
the party is weird.
That party's super weird.
The party is weird.
The party only exists on the staircase. I don't know if you noticed. There was nothing happening outside of the staircase.
Like, I wish I could keep my eyes wide shut because this place, it's going to get weird. I love that he has to wear a plaster face or rubber face, but that's the one he goes with.
Yeah. He goes with the Vincent Price one.
Like, you look old and dead. I have another question, though. Why was this psychiatrist on the list?
Yeah.
Did he talk her into having the surgery?
What did the psychiatrist have to do with it?
He's like, she saw you once and you were kind of a dick. So you're on the list.
Be like you.
Wait, were these just the people that were on like scheduled at the hospital that day?
Because I mean,
It's not even the 9 that were involved in her surgery.
but also,
That's what. Yeah, 'cause he says he's a psychiatrist.
do
Wait,
9 doctors operate on a single woman who was a car crash victim? Like 9? I know there's a bunch of nurses and assistants, but 9
That's what,
actual doctors?
I mean, that might be the problem.
25.
That might be why she died. Too many
Seven-
chefs.
7 doctors, 1 psychiatrist, and 1 nurse. 1
That is
nurse.
the countdown.
I feel
Yeah.
like they need more nurses and less psychiatrists.
Yes, fewer psychiatrists, more nurses, fewer people, fewer
in the room.
7 men actually with like the knives and like sewing.
Then
and,
have
like-
her opened up, and the psychiatrist is like, "How do you feel?"
She's like, I'm not feeling good, buddy.
No, make eye statements.
I think Dr. Vesuvius is ultimately to blame because he didn't tell everybody to get the fuck out and go to the gallery. You know, like,
Yeah.
why are you all in here? It's like, oh no, it's just
And
nice.
it-
We haven't had a chance to catch up.
Well, it's
And it took 6 minutes for these 7 men to fail.
6 minutes.
They were all just bumping into each other the whole time, trying to walk in the doorway all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what they spent the 6 minutes doing while she like coded on the table.
You're like,
Which one of them dropped in the junior mint?
Yeah.
well, they're like, get your
My
finger out of there.
butler.
That's
You're a psychiatrist.
why are you here?
And why are you poking her?
Why?
Why weren't gloves invented yet?
Yeah, it's the 20s. So like they were.
I love how long it took her to put the surgical mask on. Like, we don't have. There's no time.
Yeah. No, like that's the joke. Like, clean up all this blood. Get it out of my crime scene. I have to investigate this murder.
Now draw a chalk outline around the body.
And
We
now
know where
erase it.
was.
Now draw a unicorn. So,
Inspector, we found all this blood. Gross.
Did you think I wanted it or something? Why'd you bring it
It's a
here?
Mulaney bit. I can't believe it. So yeah. Old school tactics. Investigating. Like if you weren't there when the cops show up, you got away with murder.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So for some reason, Dr. Hargreaves walks up to Phibes to get a frog head. I don't know why he thinks Phibes is the guy handing out the masks.
You asked him to help put it on, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, he gave it to him.
And he's really unconcerned that Phibes does not speak. He just keeps talking and talking and talking.
It's like a psychiatrist.
Yeah. So yeah, he puts on the frog head, but it's got a like a mechanism in it that crushes his head.
This is the first real Saw thing in
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
little clicking timer.
Mm-hmm. As it gets tighter and tighter, and he like starts like,
And he gets more British. Oh, a bit tight then, isn't it? My word.
yeah, and all the staircase party, all like watching him like, oh heavens.
Oh my.
I love the way they
About to
clear
start
out
the orgy.
so he can tumble end over end
Down the staircase.
down the curved staircase.
It's a typical
That
20s
mask was very
staircase
ornate.
party. Yeah, the mask
That's why
was.
Prohibition happened.
Yeah. Well, it was little known that that was a loophole in Prohibition. You could drink on a staircase.
Your feet weren't touching the lava.
So yeah, he dies. And then we cut to Dr. Phibes doing another pendant and bust melting. Then we cut to Trout arguing with his boss. Trout wants more money to investigate. His boss is worried about the press and doesn't think there's a pattern to the deaths. Then we meet Dr. Longstreet. He receives porn in the mail, and then his housekeeper leaves for her night off. Then he starts watching the porn and drinking brandy.
Just belly dancing.
Yeah.
Standing up.
No, and the snake. She starts putting the snake in her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh,
she
yeah.
She deep throats that snake's head.
I think if I were
Yeah,
Supreme
I think
Court
it's
justice, I would say that's pornographic. Yeah,
That's
You have
smut.
a snake in your mouth.
Yeah, that's a euphemism.
Yeah.
You don't mean snake.
But he doesn't once question, who sent me this mail porn?
He's like, oh no, my Nickelodeon has a virus now. I never should have put that flash drive. And I found.
I'm gonna have to reboot. And by that I mean put on some boots.
Stop cranking and put on some boots.
He's cranking with one hand, Brandon the other hand, standing up, getting horny.
Wearing
If he had a third hand, he'd be cranking with that one too.
Yeah. And then Volnavia arrives and he lets her tie him up because he thinks it's sexy, but it is not sexy because Vincent Price shows up and starts taking his blood.
And he's like, hey, who's that dude?
Yeah. No,
But
you,
the hot chick was sent by the same people that sent the film.
yeah. No, and for a split second when Vincent Price shows up, he's like, who's that? But there's a look in his eye like, okay, I can maybe go with this.
I know, that's what, yes, exactly. He's like, all right. Wasn't expected.
It's one of those kind of nights. Let's see where this
All
goes.
right, cool. You can have the cuck chair.
Then at the police department, meanwhile, Shenley tells Trout that each of the dead doctors all worked with Dr. Vesalius. Trout goes to visit Vesalius.
In the future.
Yes, in the swinging 60s.
Wasn't that Crow at this point?
Oh, it was Crow, yeah. I don't know. They were all British. I kind of can't tell them apart. They all look the same to me.
I love that it takes a long time for them to get this information together.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those like seeing a rotary phone in an old movie.
Mm.
Like, oh, now that would have just been a Boolean search.
Yeah.
Somebody in a chair would have been like, oh, here you go on your way out the door.
Mm-hmm.
They put on their sunglasses as they step out the door, you know.
Somebody in a chair
This just needs to
would
be
have been
remade
able
as a
to
procedural.
would have been able to reconstruct Dr. Phibes' face from a dream of the future. He visits Vesalius, tells him about the 3 doctor deaths. Meanwhile, Dr. Longstreet is not enjoying his bloodletting. He puts the 8 jars of blood on the mantelpiece, and him and Volnavia go home to dance.
We have approximately 8 pints blood in us.
So he's completely drained.
Yeah. Well, he knew he was going to get drained that night. He just didn't know how.
Let me rewind this for you.
It would have been. What if while they were bloody, they were letting his blood, he was like, crank the Nickelodeon. I'm almost there.
Before all the blood drains out.
Like, you do it backwards. The snake gets back in the basket. She puts her clothes on.
Yeah, no.
It's a respectable film then.
But after all the bloodletting, he's like, joke's on you. I'm into this.
Exactly. Kinky.
So then his housekeeper finds the body, but Phibes had dropped the Hebrew pendant, and so the housekeeper gives it to Trout.
Why bring the costume jewelry with you to the crime?
Yeah, because it's just us.
Because he's.
I mean, as a film element. But yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff Dr. Phibes does that is just for, if you will, the vibes.
Oh yeah, he's just vibing the whole time.
It's just part of his thing. Like I am the I don't know. I am the specter of rats. This is my amulet.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
I am the specter of rat. Round and round I go.
I'm the specter of blood.
Yeah.
Uh,
Plagues.
so
The Red Death. Sorry.
So Inspector Trout takes the medallion to a jewelry maker who says that it's one of a set of 10 that was commissioned. Then he goes to a rabbi. The rabbi tells him about the 10 plagues of ancient Egypt. And so
Hadn't he seen the hit film The 10 Commandments?
the 10 plagues
on
of
his
ancient-
crank Nickelodeon. It's like I stopped after the second commandment. I got tired.
A lot of reels for that thing, I'm sure.
I bring you these 10 commandments.
We know they're Protestants. They're British. but
Oh, yeah.
They're not familiar with Moses.
They're definitely Anglicans, but yeah.
The 10 curses, the 10 plagues, slightly differed from that in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't rats and
That's true.
bats. It was.
I mean, there were
Well,
Locusts. Oh, no,
That's-
we got the locusts.
Yeah, there were locusts.
Locust was there, Boils was there,
Blood was there. The rivers from
Weiss was one of the original.
pestilence.
I mean, they didn't differ enough for us to care.
The 11th was stubbing your toe.
Yep. Curses.
Yeah. So after he explains the 10 plagues, we cut to Phibes, who's being sad about his dead wife and kissing her glove. Then we cut back to Trout and Vesalius.
He has the neck device.
Yeah.
He has to like plug something in to, or I don't know, put something on his neck, but on the side of his neck, and it comes out a phonograph.
It's right. He's a famous organist who's also like a doctor who also creates like new technology.
They only mention he has PhDs in music and theology. It's
yes, they do.
Oh, so he's not a real doctor.
It's interesting how his
patients die on the
gadgetry.
table.
He is practicing, but he's just not good at it.
Yeah, where does he get those wonderful toys?
Yeah, maybe it's Volnavia.
He's out buying them.
Volnavia.
Volnavia.
Your energy concern for the future.
Vesalius tells Trout that there's one thing that links all the dead doctors together. They were all, including himself, operating on Victoria Phibes.
Okay, he does the best investigative work in the movie. The process of elimination that he gets, it's got the stacks of paper. I don't know. It was very FBI agent.
Yeah, very much.
Meanwhile, they're like, let's put on hats. I don't know. Where's your jacket?
Let's walk around the crime scene and talk about stuff.
Whatever. Life.
So
But yeah, he had to go through all those files. He did discard a bunch from like before 5 years ago, I think it was. And then goes through. He has to go through the rest like hand by hand.
Yeah.
To find a common denominator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he put in a lot of work.
He did.
That's what I mean. Way more impressive police work than we see.
That's why it's Joseph Cotton.
That's why he gets to live in the future.
Yeah.
Up in that apartment.
Exactly. That's why he's got a recess, the recessed living room thing that
the conversation pit and the bent aluminum chair.
Where his swinging 60s son tells him all about the cool new organists.
It's like, I just picked up this hot new sheet music. It's boss.
It's groovy, man. Dr. Phibes, on his way to the hospital when his wife died on the operating table, his car flipped and exploded. Phibes was assumed dead. Nothing was left but ashes. So
he's all the way over in Europe.
Yes.
maybe I think they said Vienna. He's coming from Vienna. He gets news that his wife is dead, and he's in a hurry.
Yes.
Drive this car as fast as possible to get to the airport 2 hours early. To get,
I've got to get through
get through security.
Yeah.
It's 1925. He had to take a boat from Europe.
Yeah, probably.
There was no transatlantic flights.
Yeah.
What if,
It's from
maybe he killed his driver and planned this whole thing?
Did he also plan
know.
the face? Did he also plan the face burning?
He is dramatic.
I think that was a necessary sacrifice.
I mean, he did it for the Phibes.
We see what he's capable of doing with Brussels sprouts.
Any
so-
man who treats a Brussels sprout like that is capable of anything.
Truly.
When I saw them with the wheelbarrow full of Brussels sprouts, I was like, wait, what's happening here?
I laughed so hard. The musical beat during that too is fucking confusing as shit too. It's like, wait, is he gonna feed somebody with Brussels sprouts like to death?
Like, should I just bring you a few cabbages to make up for? No, I need 80 Brussels sprouts.
And make it, yeah. But then
It's a little cabbage, right? The locust won't know.
Or like peanut butter, or honey. Like, I don't know.
That's why I said sugar water. Yeah,
Brussels,
Yeah.
You can
Brussels
get an
sprout syrup.
insecty. It's their weakness.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so bright green, looks like
So,
the ooze.
and I love it. It reminded me of Grosse Point Blank. Do you remember in the beginning of that, his first murder? Where
Oh,
he drops
yeah.
the poison down the thread.
And it misses and hits the guy's face, so he has to run in and shoot him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember thinking how unique and original that murder was, but Phibes.
yeah.
I didn't know it had Phibes vibes.
It had Phibes written all over it. So then we meet Dr. Hedgepath. He's in his car and he's very British about it.
Longstreet, Hedgepath.
Trout 5.
I mean, like,
The name.
I'm taking over this case. You're all too British.
So he sees Volnavia on the side of the road with the car. So he tells his driver to stop and go help her. And meanwhile, so then the driver gets killed by Phibes, and then Phibes locks Hedgepath in the back of his limo and hooks up a device which freezes him to death. And he says, "Chill."
I know he's doing every Batman villain he can. Last was Poison Ivy. Brussels sprouts.
So meanwhile, Trout discovers that Phibes' entire estate was transferred to England after his death, and the money was withdrawn as cash by a tall, attractive woman.
Young and
What
doesn't
else?
speak much.
Yeah.
Very fashionable.
With a
Smart.
certain je ne sais quoi, a lilt to her step.
A certain
There was a funny.
Sorry, eating.
There's a
punishment
funny
for that.
wordplay where they were talking about, where they were describing her, and fashionable was how the guy described her, and he says smart, which is like modern lingo
Looking smart.
for fashionable.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
I thought that was an interesting, like, they're tongue in cheek saying smart. Like he's.
I was very confused about what time we were in. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. No.
I felt like it was them being clever, but it also did not help the orally dated like time frame. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Right. It did seem out of it. I thought he meant smart, which I thought was amusing. Like, well, how could you glean that? She just,
smart. Yeah.
good looking. Like, not her intelligence. Gotcha.
I'm wondering if, like, with the kid talking about, like, all the cool new organists and stuff, I'm wondering if that was, like, a social commentary about, the youth of the 60s and their obsession
Being
with
swayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were trying to do things like that, kind of.
Yeah.
But again, because of how modern looking the kid and his dad look,
Yeah.
like I just like in my brain, it was a record shop. You know what I mean? Like I picked up this sheet music down at the record shop. You know, that's not weird. It wasn't weird in real life. But then they show this very old, you know, it's 1925 in his office.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so that's where so Vesalius figures out that Phibes is still alive by visiting the music shop. Inspector Trout and Dr. Vesalius go to
I party with him all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We did a pub crawl just last week. He was pouring pints in the back of his neck like nobody's business. Because that is nobody's business.
No, it's not.
Nobody's in that business.
He was doing body shots with the back of his neck, just sticking it in someone's belly button.
Just poured it in his phonograph. I carry around.
I do like that the blind guy is the one person who encounters Dr. Phibes all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's not a good witness and he thinks he can get away with it. It's a cool like clue for a murderer to drop. It's better than dropping your costume jewelry.
Yeah.
At the scene of the crime.
He can be like, it's the two customers that don't talk. I'm blind, so I know them very well.
Yeah. They go to the Phibes crypt. Not crib, but crypt.
Crypt.
And crack open his coffin. Inside is a container with ashes, but Vesalius thinks that it could be the driver who was also burned to death in the crash. Then they open up the tomb of Victoria Phibes and find it empty.
I love that these guys are just opening tombs.
Mm-hmm.
Like no warrant. They don't give a shit.
It was the 20s in Britain. They were
You could pay that gravekeeper. You could steal bodies. That was a whole industry.
Yeah.
That's true. That's probably where those bodies went.
Just go down to the bone gardens.
Yeah, the only reason they were investigating the murders at all is because they were rich doctors. If it was like mill workers, they would have been like, it happens.
Yeah, like
Why
another butler death.
Yeah.
Did you check the mill? I don't know. Lots of people died
I don't know
there.
why.
Why are you bothering me with this? Let's go to a hootenanny.
Dead guy. That's a dead guy. I don't need. End of story.
It's 1925. Let's go down to the Kinks concert.
That mill worker died from bats. That happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
I hear there's bats in mills. Who knows? I don't.
Those mill bats.
I have money.
He showed up to work with Brussels sprouts juice all over him.
He's a
Pulled the
fucking
clock
mess. A mess.
Lem, you gotta get your life together.
And then the next victim is Dr. Kitai. Kitai.
Close to the curses, right?
Kitai.
Is that Kitai? The Hebrew Qatar?
Oh, yeah. Kitai.
Gedach, I think was the first.
All right.
Kitai is on vacation, and he's flying in his airplane. But he doesn't know there's rats in the airplane.
He does his extensive, panel check and everything he's supposed to do.
We do see Dr. Phibes' shoe on the wing. They showed a shot of his foot stepping onto the wing when the guys are on the other side of the plane.
Well, he definitely put the rats in there. Those were not natural airplane rats.
But no, it's assumed
lead me to believe
that big ass looming, weird, heavy breathing Dr. Phibes
was on
snuck around the airplane. Mind you, it's an airplane on a runway, not next to shit. So he ran up to it and then with a bag of rats and shook them out while the two guys are like, oh yeah, so I think I'm going to take this guy out for a flight this weekend. Like they're having a conversation, I guess. While Dr.
Like later at the hospital, he's in the elevator.
Yes.
He's just facing the wall, which would make me notice someone way more.
Right. Why is that dude just facing the wall?
You look over at him and you go, "Hey, man, you fucking cool? What's up with
all
you?"
right?
That's weird.
They're like, is that Dr. Phibes putting rats in our plane?
There's a broccoli or Brussels sprout juice in there, is there? No, it's medicinal use only.
What if you put the Brussels sprout juice in the plane? They're just it's like they will think it's very gross.
They'll be totally freaked out.
They hate
blow
Brussels
their balls
sprouts.
off.
So yeah, the rats make them crash.
Naturally, yeah, that most sensible part of this
Well,
movie.
yeah, because rats can't fly a plane.
No, they can't.
this
They'll
is
eat you.
This is one of the scariest sequences. There's a scene of the rat like eating a piece of like chicken tender,
Yeah, like
and
sinewy.
it's just like, ugh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Just
that's
visceral.
why they definitely wouldn't wait until you're in the air.
No.
Just a pack of huddled rats, just like not yet.
And while Phibes is watching this and like conducting the plane, while Volnavia plays the violin behind him.
With this elaborate spyglass.
Have we talked about how insane her playing the violin is? How the housekeeper was like, yeah, there was violin playing in the street, and Trout's like, shut the hell up, lady. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's 1925, and that's the most unbelievable. I could go down to 4th Avenue right now.
Yeah.
Like, whoa! You're telling somebody on the street was playing music for free? Is that what you're trying to tell me? At night,
I
lady?
forgot how his reaction was just so insane when she first mentions the violin player. There was violin playing in the street. He's like, woman, you're out of your goddamn mind. You're hysterical.
Someone give her a lobotomy and a dildo. This is crazy.
Meanwhile, Volnavia is like, the devil came down to Georgia.
Which pretty shitty solo by and large.
Yeah, she just keeps playing the theme from Dr. Zhivago, though. It's just like, she's like, well, I
With
figured
her
I would
muff.
dress like, the part.
So then Trout steals his boss's car to drive to the airfield quickly there in Europe. I don't know why. Why did he steal the car
He's
and drive?
chasing a plane.
That was Crow, actually. I don't know how he was tipped off to go to the airfield, but yeah, he took the fastest fastest looking car that he could find. And it had a police notebook in the seat. So he knew it was one of theirs, but it turns out to be the chief's.
This was a long tangent of a bit they were doing.
It was.
And the chief shows up and keeps getting Trout's name wrong.
Yeah.
Calls him
Calls him
Perch
and Bream.
Pike.
Yeah.
I
guys running out.
love the chase between the car and the airplane, just the continuing shots of them back and forth from different terrible angles, like different distances.
But also, you're
We
not going
hadn't
to
figured out action sequences yet.
Yeah, but also, you're not going to catch a plane. It's in the air. You're in a car.
First rule of Plane Club.
Well, he was going 90.
I mean, okay, it's still up there, and you
A
still
short period of time.
It's still an
probably
earth-bound
could've.
vessel.
Yeah. So back at
I love before the chief drove off, Trout contradicted him in some ways, and the chief is like, are you something to the matter of do you make a habit of contradicting your superiors? Bream? No, Perch. It was Perch at this time. Mm-hmm. And Trout doesn't correct him on his name. It's like, no, sir. Mm-hmm. And then the car breaks down like when he drives 20 feet away.
Yeah.
If we were allowed to carry guns, I would have shot that bastard.
Back at his place, Phibes and Volnavia dance for a while. Then Trout and the police arrive. They're trying to protect the next target, Dr. Whitcomb. They open the door for him, and a brass unicorn is launched from a catapult, burying him in the chest and nailing him to a wooden thing behind him.
I have one complaint about this. We don't get to see the catapult. I would have loved for them to go outside, look out a window, and go like, oh no, we've got to go down across the street. to the building where there's another broken window and a catapult or a big like slingshot would have been hilarious.
Did you see anything? No. A guy with a catapult, but I didn't think that was weird.
A guy with a catapult and a brass unicorn head.
I must have looked away for a second because I thought it was like a spring-loaded thing, like it was just on a table. I didn't realize it flew across.
Yeah, they opened the front doors and it just came flying in. The precision of this catapult is amazing because, like, a catapult, I mean, kind of tosses things end over end.
Right?
Yeah. There's no tumble to this.
There's no tumble, just speared right in the chest. Hard.
But also, he didn't know that when that door opened, the doctor was going to be directly in there. He was just taking the chance that the next guy coming through that door was going to be the doctor.
And you have to trigger it, right? You got to be... You've got to be standing there, right? So like you said, Brian, like quickly run to that building where...
Yeah.
Or can you light a fuse, a catapult fuse?
But no, they have to unscrew him from the wall piece.
Yeah,
and
first.
That's one of my favorite lines from this movie is they look on the other side and it's like, I think it's a left-hand thread.
That was funny.
So,
that
the unicorn horde.
And then
they spin
the feet spinning in the air.
They spin him around.
And
he's already dead, just yank it out.
Yeah, but
the
also,
shot of the legs is from the perspective of the old man reading the newspaper. This is a gentleman's club.
But also, like, they could have just spun the unicorn head. They didn't have to spin the whole body.
Oh, no, they couldn't because they have to keep it in his chest for evidence.
Okay. So we don't know what killed him.
I didn't see anyone gather evidence.
Also, he is dead immediately. That guy is dead immediately.
Yeah.
The shots of him hung to the door, he is just like, ah.
The only thing deadlier than Brussels sprout juice is a flying brass unicorn.
Jude complained.
20s London.
Yeah. Jude complained that.
Do you think they got a spin on it? Anyways.
Yeah. Jude complained that a lot of the dead guys, you could see him breathing very obviously in the background.
Shh, don't look.
Got an eye for film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rule number one, if you're playing a dead guy, hold your breath.
Yeah. Or at least like breathe very shallowly so you don't move. So yeah, back at Phibes' place, he melts the bust. He says a poem to his dead wife through his neck tube. Then him and Volnavia make the Brussels sprout juice.
Did he write that poem? Or was he like quoting some other weird dead guy who wrote a poem?
I think it was in the script. I don't know if he was quoting. No. I mean, I don't know if it was like from a sonnet or anything.
Yeah.
I think that was just some...
I didn't recognize like the style or anything, and I didn't look it up. But
no, every night he emos out, just says the same variation of shit to his wife,
and then
while a remarkably similar woman stands behind him.
Yeah. And then they make locally sourced Brussels sprout syrup from artisanal Brussels sprout syrup.
Syrup. It is a syrup, but that's just so
they're just hipsters.
Yep, they just make
okay. We're almost out the other side of this thing. Who is Volnavia? Where did she come from? Where did she go?
Oh. Where did you come from, Volnavia Joe?
They're dancing together. There's clearly affection between them.
Oh yeah, she's always pouring him champagne and stuff.
Yeah,
playing the violin while he murders.
Dude,
yeah.
I thought it would be revealed. I thought it was going to be revealed that she's his daughter and she helped fake his death and all that stuff.
Or that she was his wife's ghost or something. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Something weird. But she's also been spending money, so she's got to be a corporeal person, I guess.
Or it's sort of like in Vertigo, where he's trying to remake a woman.
Yeah,
yeah.
They also did that in Frankenhooker.
And Meet the Fockers.
So
the original, though, not the
the original Frankenhooker, which was Vertigo.
Not the compromised second draft.
Yeah. So, anyways, Trout goes to protect the nurse Allen. They put her in a room in the hospital while the
They
rest
lock down the hospital.
they lock down the hospital.
It's her room.
Yeah. And Dr. Phibes gets by them by looking at a wall.
He's in the
Right,
elevator that they take down.
Yeah. And he's staring at the back of the elevator, which again, I would immediately notice.
You're like, why are you so weird, dude?
And you would immediately
It's
notice
a
it if
social
you had
experiment.
if you had just expressed your concerns that what if he's already in the hospital? What if he's already here with us? I don't know. Let's get in this elevator.
But they take the
The guy
time.
that's looking at the wall.
Couldn't be Dr. Phibes. Dr. Phibes hates looking at walls.
He couldn't have been in here before this. He kind of
one
looks
would
like
look at a
he's
wall
dead,
like
though. That guy's skin is weird looking.
Vesalius did say that, though. He's like, what if he's already inside? And then Trout's like, all the better. Now he can't get out.
That's what I mean, though. If someone had just expressed that thought to you and you got on an elevator and there's some man staring at a wall, you'd be like, hey,
I don't know that guy.
Are you Dr. Phibes?
That's what you should have done, even if he was facing the right way.
Yes, there's
You're
a man.
locking down a hospital. You want to know who's in and out. Definitely ask the orderlies. Stu's got 2 giant kettles or giant pots and facing the wall. But he did take the time to tell her to take a sleeping pill, which probably explains why she didn't feel all that
didn't wake up
all over her face. She's like, this isn't normal. The doctor told me not to get Brussels sprouts. You saw me.
Yeah, so he drills a hole in through the floor of the room above and starts.
No, he drills a hole through a sheet that has the outline of his quarry on it. There is a lady with symmetrical lines on her face so that he can accurately drill the hole above her face.
And where we see him, there's a perfect circle hole drilled, but then like a chunk of plaster falls off. And then there's some shavings on her face.
Yeah, she gets hit with plaster.
Yeah, there was a shot.
Yeah,
chunk of plaster falling down.
And so then
sleeping pill.
Then he drips
sleeping pill.
Yeah, then he drips the Brussels sprout juice on her and releases,
as you do,
and releases the locusts, who, as we all know, are crazy for Brussels sprout juice.
They're silly for that shit.
They're cuckoo for Brussels sprout juice.
They eat her entire head except for the skull.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
takes a little bit.
I mean, no one checked on her in the time it took for locusts to eat all of the flesh away from her face and head and neck and chest.
Because as that's happening, they're all drawn away from the hospital. Because what is the last or the second to last? What's it called? Plague.
Well,
Death of the firstborn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Trout realizes that Vesalius has a firstborn.
Yes.
Vesalius says, "Well, my older brother's already dead, so blah blah blah." Like, wait, what about your kid?
I'm the pharaoh in this situation.
little Lemmy Trout, or Lemmy Vesalius.
You think that of all the plagues you'd be worried about, the one explicitly about killing a child would be the one where I'd be like, yo, we should figure that one out first.
Yeah.
Because that one's going to be real bad for Scotland Yard.
Like the
Brussels sprouts plague thing, not a big deal. People on that happens. Sprouts. It's England, you know?
Brussels sprout plague.
Yeah.
People are always trying to make jellies out of stuff they shouldn't.
The plague,
and then they're devoured alive.
Britain and the plague of beans.
Have you? Yeah, that was World War II.
Yeah. No, Britain still eats like the Blitz is currently happening. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they do. I saw that headline. Why do the Brits eat baked beans for breakfast?
I saw
there's a nation they're collectively living in a cave in the Pacific somewhere, still waiting for the emperor to say they should continue the fight.
It's hilarious to me because I saw a British guy online arguing no, our food's not that bad. Sometimes you just want something comforting and brown. I'm like, wait, it's comforting and brown?
Eat a fucking hot dog, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
A
just
flat sausage patty with beans and
You mean like
bread.
an older black auntie?
yeah, but like just like brown drippy food that you can't quite identify.
Comforting and brown. That sums up Britain.
It's tinned is the way that I consider most of Britain's food. Like, ooh, these vegetables are very brightly colored. Yeah, they were tinned. Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, their peas look like the fucking Brussels sprout juice in this movie. Then they realize that Vesalius is the only one that has children. He suspects that Phibes may try to kill Lem. He races back to Vesalius' home, and they discover Lem is missing. Then Dr. Phibes calls them and tells them, hey, come over to my place.
He's all, you up?
Do they know where he is already? Does he give them the address?
He gives them the
description.
approximation of an address. He's the large house in Maldine Square.
A concept of a plan.
Yeah, the house you never bothered to check out.
You mean the big spooky house that says Phibes on it?
Right on the mailbox. I love that even
Volnavia estate now.
That's right. Volnavia.
That's true. Volnavia,
That's
she
her
bought
first
it.
and her last name. Volnavia.
She was his realtor. That's all. That explains that.
She's like, I just dug his Phibes.
He's got good vibes. I love that even in 1925, you could knock a person out with a telephone receiver.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know, those of us who grew up with corded phones, we got hit with phone receivers, not by anyone necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
Those old
I got hit
rotary
with the
phones
phone.
are heavy as hell, too.
The
They've got
phone,
that big
yes,
ass plate.
but it's always the receiver in movies.
The receiver is
Yeah.
not that heavy.
Yes, a rotary phone could knock somebody out, but yeah.
Yeah.
In movies, it's always.
Like
Oh no, he hit
pistol-whipping
me
them
in
with
my
the phone.
neck tube where I eat and talk.
Yeah. So he tells him if he wants to save his son, he has to come there. Vesalius knocks Trout out and goes to Phibes' place. There he finds that Phibes has strapped Lem down to an operating table. Implanted in his chest is a key. The key unlocks.
Like only a theologian.
Right. The key unlocks the lock that's holding him down to the table. And above him is a tube from which acid will be dripped onto his face.
6 minutes. He made that thing. Yeah, he's an incredible innovator.
And he has a doctorate in music and theology.
He made it into like an acid shower because it didn't just come out one tube. It spread out into like 9 different.
But he had a
acid
time
shower
soap,
holes. But yeah, the timer,
like an hourglass.
Yeah.
a 6-minute glass.
Yeah,
That's like,
you know.
Phibes is like, I call this 6 minutes in heaven.
I'm getting bored with this boggle game. I didn't need 6 minutes.
So
I'm just doing a word find that I made up myself.
in the paper.
Just finding words.
Vesalius is operating on Lem while Phibes watches and tells him that the 6 minutes is equal to the amount of time that the doctors worked on his wife.
Including that psychiatrist.
Yeah, including the psychiatrist. He takes off his mask and shows him his skull face.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I wish he had done that earlier
Yeah.
or more often.
And then, of course, they had to have Vincent Price back in the game. So he ran up and put the exact same old man rubber mask. Like, why'd you even rip it off? But I'm sure Volvania has seen it. Or...
Volnavia. I am from Volnavia.
Oh.
So then Phibes goes and tells Volnavia that this is their final mission and she should destroy everything. He leaves Vesalius to play the organ for a while. Gets a lot done in the 6 minutes.
I gotta have one last jam. You know how it is.
He tells her to destroy everything, and she grabs a golden axe.
Yeah.
He has a golden axe.
I mean,
ready.
you've seen his
That's already stuck in the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's all, fuck yo, drum.
She's like, it's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up.
You guys might not recognize this, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah.
He tells
An axe.
Wrecking the stage.
he tells
Oh, my
her
God.
to destroy all he's created, and the first thing she goes after is the band. And
She's
the
like,
second thing
I hate these guys.
the second thing she goes after is the party mural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hates
Like-
the vibes that he's created.
Fuck this backdrop.
She's like, on the weekends it's a showbiz pizza, and I'm fucking tired of
It's
it.
a Rockefeller explosion show.
But I love when the cops like poke their heads through the mural.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Rockefeller, but I like Rockefeller explosion show. That's
Oh,
the Second World War.
The Rockefeller. That's right. Trout wakes up and races to Phibes' house to save the doctor. He finds Volnavia and
Which is the fucking heaven.
yeah.
He finds Volnavia.
He had to stop and
Like
pick up
El
Crow on the
Dorado.
way.
Yeah, you gotta have some crow.
Yeah.
Because some people believe a crow can take you to the next plane.
Some people believe. Who believes that? I don't know. Diane
So,
over there.
Carol believes it.
Vesalius gets his son off the operating table. Trout pushes Volnavia back underneath the tube of acid just as it comes down. It melts away her face, and she dies.
As they watch.
Yeah, and they're like, "Ow,
There's nothing we can do.
that
We
sucks."
can move her
Yeah.
away from the acid.
Nothing we can do. Phibes doesn't care. Nobody cares. Nobody
cares.
mourns Volvania.
She's like, the commission of this house wasn't worth all this bullshit.
So
And what was the pitch to her? I'm going to kill all of my enemies, and you are going to
play the
not
violin.
get melted by acid at the end of the movie.
She's all, I'm sorry, what? I said violin.
Like, I can guarantee everything except for your safety around liquid acid that I have used in my trap.
Why don't we use all of your money in your mansion to just try to make a life?
Do you
No.
do you think when they met, she was like, "Hi, I'm Volnavia," and he was like, "You're in."
Nancy was just here and I just didn't feel it.
I can fix her.
Yeah, a manic
I have-
pixie violin girl. As Trout, Vesalius, and Lem try to find Dr. Phibes, he goes into his secret room where his wife's corpse is kept perfectly undecomposed. He gets inside their box with and puts a the tomb, their special tomb. You're muted, Al.
Sorry, their bed coffin.
Yeah. Yes. And he puts a catheter into his wrist and starts putting embalming fluid in himself, which seems like a really awful way to die, honestly. If you're committing suicide, that is not my first choice.
No, it's going to take a while. That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I'm going to upset Tommy.
So that's the 10th and final curse.
Yeah, the curse of the
The
darkness.
darkness.
Yeah.
The darkness.
So the inspectors arrive right as the lid closes, And
Oh, what are you gonna do?
like, well, he's gone.
Where'd he go?
I don't know, but wherever he is, he's doing something bad. And then they leave.
He's definitely not gonna rise again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Not even once. So they leave, credits roll, and Somewhere Over the Rainbow plays.
Yeah, kind of a fun version of it.
Yeah.
It sure does. It is there's some weird music in this movie.
Yeah, there were some choices made.
We got Sinatra. Mm-hmm. Or not Sinatra singing Sinatra, but
Yeah.
I forget who wrote that song originally.
I mean,
then
they had to
Somewhere Over the
drop a
Rainbow?
dime to get Somewhere Over the Rainbow
Yeah.
from MGM.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
they really did.
Yeah, this wasn't MGM. I didn't even think about
No.
that. Yeah, this is some
$600,000.
yeah,
I'm sure 20 went to
some
Somewhere
car
Over the Rainbow.
dealer who's trying to make a movie or something
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so they played One for My Baby.
Yes.
One for the road. Yeah.
One more for the road, which was written in 1943. 18 years after this movie takes place.
Well, the Wizard of Oz hadn't happened yet either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why the Wizard of Oz? That's such a weird. Is he the wizard? And was the murderous like trail of bodies the
No.
road?
Yeah. Okay. So there's
The answer to all your questions is no.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 songs played in this movie that were not written in 1925.
They knew
they were
the hippie
doing.
shake.
Oh Lord. The Dr. Phibes soundtrack was released, and the cover is beautiful. I would frame that one and put it on my wall.
I hope it's just Vincent Price like zoomed in way too close to those like
No,
dead
it's a really
bags under
cool.
his eyes.
It's
No, it's Dr. Phibes without his mask.
Mhm.
So Skullface Phibes about to kiss Volnavia.
yeah. And,
Oh, is it the dancing
Yeah,
like
but-
print that
yeah.
was in the trailer?
yeah, and it's all psychedelic around it.
That's
White
cool.
with color. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dr. Phibes. He's abominable.
I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it wasn't, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was going to be possibly a little like tedious in a 70s horror way, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I never drew the comparison when I was watching, but the Saw thing is totally, the key inside the kid and all that. To get the clasp off his neck. Some modern horror shit going on.
Yeah. Apparently in the sequel, it's about him trying to take his wife to the river of Egypt to bring her back to life, and Volnavia is alive again.
Weekend at Volnavia's.
Weekend at Volnavia, sir.
They take his dead wife somewhere. I'm going to watch the sequel.
And Trout follows him to Egypt.
Oh, shit.
That's amazing. So yeah, that's Phibes. That is full Phibes.
Yep.
Uh,
All right, so usually I start. Are we thumbing these?
yeah,
or
let's
it's
thumb
just
it.
tough?
Let's thumb them.
All right. I give it a thumbs up. I thought it was fun. It I didn't know what to expect. I'd never seen it, but wanted to see it, so it was good enough.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. So okay, up from Josh, which brings us to Brian.
I gotta give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it. Honestly, I enjoyed the inspector more than I enjoyed anything else in this movie, which surprised me.
Yeah,
I just thought it was fun. The little weird cat and mouse thing was well enough orchestrated that it was fun. So yeah, thumbs up for me.
all right. Thumbs up from Brian. Al, where are you going?
For a 70s movie, this was quickly paced. I'm sure it's not alone in being a quickly paced 70s movie, but I was expecting something more morose and abominable. But no, yeah, I had fun. Thumbs up.
All right. up for Al. And yeah, as for me, like I said, I thought it was a lot of fun. Genuinely was surprised by how fun it was, and I'm going up too. So 4 thumbs up all the way across the board.
Possibly the greatest film
Abominable
ever
Dr.
made.
Phibes.
Yeah, possibly the Phibiest film that's ever been Phibed.
It's not often that we find consensus on the show.
Yeah, no, but Dr. Phibes did it.
The Phibes were good, man.
Yeah.
They were.
So that is it for the Abominable Dr. Phibes. Which brings us to next week's Haunted Phosphorescence, and next week's decider will be Brian. Brian, what are we gonna watch next week on Haunted Phosphorescence?
So I'm tempted to do one movie. Really tempted to do one movie after doing this movie. But I think I'm going to wait for next year.
What?
So I was thinking about doing the sequel to Dr. Phibes Rises Again. But I think we can wait for next year. I'm definitely excited to see it. But I'm going to do In the Mouth of Madness. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Wow.
I haven't seen it. And I love Sam Neill and Carpenter.
Oh, it's a great Sam Neill movie.
And yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's fun. Yeah. That's I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah.
Because we did what's it called already, right? In space where we're going, we don't need eyes to see. What's that movie called?
Oh, the space mouth of madness.
Event Horizon.
Yes. Event Horizon. I think,
I love that movie.
I think In the Mouth of Madness is probably a better movie. I mean, I think it was John Carpenter's last truly great film. He didn't make a whole lot after it, but yeah, nice. All right, In the Mouth of Madness. That will be next week on Haunted Phosphorescence. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. This has been one of your hosts, Thoreau Smiley, and I'm off to drink my Brussels sprouts.
I forgot it. I'm Josh Fisi, and I'm going to go down to the record shop and pick up the hottest new Bach sheet music. I'm Josh Fisi. I don't know if I said that.
I'm Brian Lesh, but Al can call me the Spectre of Rats.
And I'm Alaric Weber. I was the saxophonist for Dr. Phibes' Clockwork Wizards.
Did the mask have one of those things on the back of it? So if you play it out of tune, it would tighten?
Tightens up.
Absolutely.
I loved Dr. Phibes' Clockwork Wizards at Altamont.
I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl.
We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.